from the jungle, and if you don't know me, I'm a hangry animal, and you know that I'm hungry.
All right. We're progressing this game experiment at the moment, and everything's coming together really nicely. You know, we've got the membership connection and those NFTs. As you select them, you know, you pick the avatar that you're going to play in the game, and I've changed it up a bit from what we had, where as you progress through the level you pick up the deliveries, the food items. So it gets more kind of complicated because obviously the stack of food gets in the way of you seeing what's directly ahead of you. So the idea being is that yes, you can see obstacles right now, and you know, we're trying to navigate this this narrow step. I'm trying to set it up so you can jump off that item and pick up one of those extra pizzas that is above your head. So working our way through that and adding as many pizza boxes as we can in the level. There will be some form of randomized distribution based on what level you're at, and that stack is going to get bigger and bigger, obviously. But adding some more weight scripts that influence how high you can jump and how easy it is to jump if you've got more pizzas stacked on top. You can see the choctagons in here, which are the food items that you can pick up and collect along the way. They will help you fuel your performance of your hangry. I died at the moment because we have a 1 minute 50 time limit on you completing this level, which we're going to completely remove because it's all about how quickly you can beat the level and not do it in 1 minute 30. It just becomes quite tricky to do it that way. So we've got a trade-off here where yes, you're collecting pizza boxes because the more boxes you deliver to your end goal, to your destination, the more points you can earn. But in the same breath, the more food items you collect, then the more items you can trade for in the marketplace. So working through all of those bits, but trying to make sure that the core fundamental kind of game mechanics are fun and they're addictive enough to, you know, want to have people come back and feel intrigued by what they're playing. But it's early days, so we're just testing the water with what we think will be cool. I've added in obviously the boost mechanism, so rather than pressing spacebar and it jumps straight away, we take on the principle that there's an anticipation. So holding down the spacebar, the longer you hold down, the higher up the sort of the kinetic energy is stored, and when you release the spacebar, that's when it propels you into the air. So I've put in a timer that calculates how long you've held the spacebar down for, and then it jumps. But if it's a very short amount of time that you've selected the spacebar, then it jumps as normal. So it gives the player a sense of normality in terms of, if I tap it, then I am going to jump. But if I hold it down for a period of time because I'm anticipating that I'm going to go over a ramp, or I'm going to want to leap onto a platform that is a bit higher than a mini jump, then we can do that with the boost mechanism. There is something we need to figure out with the rotational axis of the player with the bike. At the moment, that rotational axis is centered, but we need to throw the rotational axis a little bit more towards the front wheel. So the pivot point on the y-axis needs to be corrected for that. But you know, this is all playground, it's experimentation, and we think it's going to be quite cool, quite fun to play. I certainly am finding the challenge of this small testing environment in particular just quite cool. You know, you get to your destination, you complete that, but then maybe we reset it and there's a time trial for you to get back to the starting point to kick off the next level, or however we wanna play that. But it's fun, it's challenging, and you know, the more we can experiment with this as a test bed, as a as a sandbox for the kind of things we want to do, then the easier it's going to be when we apply those principles and those rules of the world to the character in any level. Next thing on my agenda is to allow the player to perform some form of wall riding for a bit. So we've got slope buildings and slope surfaces. Imagine this is like some sort of Grand Canyon rocky environment. So you have these sloped surfaces. I want the ability for the player to be able to do a little bit of a wall ride, and then the gravity takes over and we eventually slip down back to the ground level. So that's next on the cards, but in the meantime I fall down the ditch, but I've still got my pizzas in tow, so we will continue to develop and work on that. I did change the jump mechanic as well, so that when you jump in the air, we had the character rigid body that the character is attached to. The rotational mechanism was attached to the rigid body, which means it rotated the entire player and rigid body, and therefore the camera, because the camera is following the player, which looks stupid because we were just rotating the entire scene. So I've gone one level deeper and I've connected it to the bike frame, which means that when we do jump in the air and we spin around, it literally spins the character and not the camera. That's perfect, and that's exactly how I intended it and what we wanted to do. And it just looks cool when Zabrina the zebra is jumping and spinning in the air. There we go. That we are going to earn some points. Anyway, that's us for a moment. Enjoy. We'll see you on the other side.
I run the jungle, and if you don't know me, I'm